Well, thank you for joining us for tonight's webinar, How Can You Achieve Lifestyle Wellness? Tonight, we're going to be taking a look at a never-before-seen initiative from the UAB Department of Nutrition Sciences. I'm Greg Berry, Assistant Director in the UAB Office of Alumni Affairs. Since we're coming to you virtually, please excuse any glitches you may see. If you have any video or audio issues, click the reconnect button at the top of your screen. This will be back to the webinar right away. Before introducing tonight's guest speaker, I would like to ask a simple question. Do you consider yourself healthy? Your options are easy, yes or no, or you're not sure. We'll keep the poll up for a moment so you can choose the answer that best describes your situation. After tonight's presentation, we will have time for questions. So throughout the presentation, I encourage you to put your questions in the chat box, and I'll make sure Dr. Holly has a chance to answer them. I'm going to let that go for just a couple more seconds as some more people are coming into the room and more people are voting. So let's go ahead and close that poll down at this point. Here are the results of the poll. 67% of you consider yourself healthy. 21% say no, and 11% just aren't sure. So tonight we do welcome Dr. Holly Wyatt. Dr. Holly is a professor of nutrition sciences in the UAB School of Health Professions. She has more than 20 years of clinical experience in weight reduction using behavioral treatment, dietary therapy, physical activity interventions, weight loss medications, and surgery. Dr. Holly earned her Doctor of Medicine from the Baylor College of Medicine in 1993, and she served as medical director for seasons 4 and 5 of the ABC hit TV show Extreme Weight Loss. Dr. Wyatt has spent much of her research career following more than 10,000 successful losers in the National Weight Loss Registry to investigate what makes people successful during their weight loss journey. So at this time, I would like to turn things over to Dr. Holly Wyatt. Welcome tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we can get my slides up. There we go. All right, well, welcome everybody and good evening. It is great to see so many people tuning in on a Thursday night. And actually, I love it. So many people thinking they're healthy. This is a healthy group. It's great to see so many people. I don't know if that means you love the topic of lifestyle wellness. You don't know what it means, or maybe it's just a really bad TV night on Thursday night. I don't know, but I am glad you're here. My plan is for us to talk a little bit about lifestyle wellness. How can you achieve lifestyle wellness? This is a new initiative, really a theme, something that we're going to be rolling out over the next year in the Department of Nutrition Sciences. So something I think you're going to hear more and more about. And like was described, it's really in its infancy. I haven't done very many talks on this. I talk about weight loss and obesity and nutrition all the time, but this is something that's a little bit new for me. So the plan tonight is I'm going to spend about 30 or 40 minutes talking about this new initiative, talking about how we're defining lifestyle wellness. It really is a new term that isn't out there, how we're going to plan on measuring it, and what we can do to change it. I do think this is an incredible opportunity for UAB and also for the state of Alabama. But I want to get your input. I want to see what you think. Like I said, this is the beginning stages. You can help us develop this because we are now just beginning to roll this out and to figure out everything that's going to go into it. So I really want to hear from you at the end of this presentation. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start out with a little bit of a game I call Did You Know? So did you know our lifestyles are causing 75% of Americans to be overweight and obese. Think about that for a minute. That is the majority. That is the majority of Americans are overweight and obese, and it's our lifestyles that are causing that weight gain and for us to be in that category. Lifestyle-related weight gain is causing chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. Most of you probably did know that. That is something that's out there. But did you know that lifestyle-related weight gain also impacts the quality of our life? And there's multiple studies that have shown weight gain does impact the quality of our life. I wanted to just put this slide up quickly. I know a lot of you probably know this, but just to show you how big a problem we have with obesity. And obesity is one of the biggest diseases that's impacted by our lifestyle. That lifestyle is causing this obesity epidemic. As you can see, that black line up at the top of the graph where is BMI greater than 30. So those are people who are obese. The light blue line at the bottom of the graph is extreme obesity. That's BMI greater than 40. And the red line represents overweight, which is a BMI between 25 and 30. And as you can see, BMIs greater than 30, that obese category, have been increasing pretty consistently, as have the extreme obese category, BMIs greater than 40. The overweight category has remained pretty steady, but I always say you have to be overweight before you can become obese. So a lot of people move through overweight and become obese, and we're slowly, as you're seeing, over time, more and more people becoming obese. I put that black box up at the top just to remind me to say 25% of the population is at or below a healthy body weight. It's interesting, y'all, I think it was 72% or something around there felt they were healthy. I wonder if this population represents the general population, or it may be slightly skewed. You may have shown up because you like the term lifestyle wellness and you wanted to know about it. But that would not be the case for the majority of people. Not the majority, the minority, 25% of the population is currently at a healthy body weight. Something to think about. Put this slide up just in case you thought maybe the state of Alabama was one of the leaner states, and that is not the case. As you can see, the state of Alabama is one of the not very lean states. It's a red state, so it has a high percentage of obesity. So obesity and lifestyle type diseases are very much a problem in the state of Alabama. And I always point out that this is the Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance Survey. You may be familiar with it. It's a self-reported survey. And so when people tend to report their weight, they call them up and they ask them how tall they are and how much they weigh. And you can imagine people usually think they're a little bit taller than they actually are, and they weigh a little bit less than they actually weigh. So this is always an underrepresentation, but it is a great study because it does show the difference between the states, and you can see which states tend to be leaner and which states tend to have a higher degree of obesity, and you can kind of compare state to state. The other thing, did you know that the CDC says that 94% of all Americans who have died of COVID-19 had at least one other underlying disease? And most of these diseases, or a large proportion of these diseases, were lifestyle diseases, diabetes, heart disease, and obesity. Obesity is a disease. So that is something that I think is important as we move through and talk about lifestyle wellness tonight. So in summary, guys, we have a crisis. We have an epidemic of obesity and diabetes. They go hand in hand. I didn't show that, but as obesity goes up, diabetes goes up. Didn't show slides, but there's definitely a lack of physical activity, increase in sedentary activity, increase in other chronic disease, and escalating healthcare costs. And all of this is fueled by our lifestyles. So if we could impact lifestyle, we could impact a lot of things. We could impact a lot of this crisis that we're right in the midst of. All right, what is my game plan for tonight? So I'm going to spend a good amount of time talking about what is lifestyle wellness. This is a term that we have started to define. It's not really out there. This is something that we want to own. I want UAB to own this. This is something that other people are going to look to us when we talk about lifestyle wellness. What is it? How do you achieve it? How do you measure it? So we're going to spend a lot of time tonight talking about how we're trying to define it. Would love your impact, your opinion on that. It is, like I said, a new initiative for the Department of Nutrition Sciences, and I believe it's a perfect fit. And I want to talk to you why I think it's a perfect fit for what we do and where UAB is situated right now. I'm going to talk a little bit about why do you want it? How do you measure it? That's what we do, right? We measure it, we study it, we're going to do research on this. And then ultimately, we want to be able to achieve lifestyle wellness. We want to be able to change it. Lifestyle wellness is really going to be a spectrum. It's not going to be one or the other. It's not going to be a yes or no. But the idea is, can you move someone who does not have a lot of lifestyle wellness, is low on the lifestyle wellness score, can you move them in a positive direction over time? Like I said, it's going to be a spectrum. And then we want to spend the last 30 minutes or so, questions and comments, getting your input. All right, so let's start off with defining wellness. We're going to get to lifestyle wellness, but I want to start off making sure you kind of understand what wellness is and how it's evolved over time, because wellness is a big term. It means a lot of different things to different people, and that's part of the problem. If you say we're going to do a wellness initiative, it can mean anything almost. I'm from Colorado. I've only been at the University of Alabama, Birmingham for about a year and a half. So I'm coming from Colorado, one of the leanest states, to one of the heaviest states. If you use the term wellness in Colorado, marijuana actually pops up. So wellness can mean so many different things. And so I think it's important to kind of look at how the definition of wellness has changed over time, and then how we're going to take it to a very specific type of wellness. So first, when I think about general wellness, one way that it's defined and one way that people tend to think about it is really the treatment and prevention of chronic disease. So it's more about preventing or treating existing diseases, about getting rid of something or treating something or not having something or preventing it. And that's one way that you can think about wellness. However, it's now changed. That was the beginning kind of definition, but the definition or the thoughts around wellness have really kind of evolved over time. And now it's not just about the prevention and the treatment of disease, so preventing diabetes or preventing heart attacks. It really is more than that. It's about prevention of disease, and it's been really added on that it's more about accumulating something. It's not about what you don't have. It is about what you do have. It's about your health. It's about your happiness. It's about living your purpose. It's about living your best life. It's more than just the lack of disease. It's how you want to engage in life. It's accumulating something that brings you happiness and joy and purpose into your life. It's even evolved a little bit more. Wellness now has really moved more into a mindset. And at first, if you only look at this half of the slide, it's really more of a negative mindset where you think about what I do not want in my life, which is fear-based and limited. But with the new kind of wellness, we're adding on this positive side. It's not just about what I don't want. I don't want to have diabetes. I don't want to have heart disease. I don't want to die young, right? It's more about what can I live? How can I live? I want more in my life. What do I want to fill my life with? Not what do I not want to have in my life? And that's a mindset shift. I like to say you're either facing kind of forward, thinking about possibilities and what you want, or you're facing backwards, which is more of a fear-based mindset saying, this is what I don't want to have. You're either trying to create something that's going to allow you to live your best life, or you're trying to prevent something that might get in your way. And I do think it makes a difference. So we're definitely over here more on this positive. What do I want more of in my life? That growth possibility mindset. And while this is still true, we do prevent disease and diabetes. It's not the only thing. And I think this is a really important concept to understand as we move forward. So a question for you, and I won't be able to see your answer, but I want you to think about it, and maybe we can have some discussion on this at the end, is can you have a disease such as cancer or type 2 diabetes and be well, have wellness? Can the two go hand in hand? Can you have a disease and be well? And the answer to that question for me is absolutely, and that's the key with the mindset. The idea is living your best life. It's not simply the lack of disease or the lack of what you don't want. It is what you can want. So you very much can have a disease and be well, be healthy, and living your very, very best life, the best version of yourself. So how do people define wellness? And this is the problem, guys. And I just put one slide up here. Do not look at this slide as the be-all, end-all, because it's not. I could get a slide with 4 dimensions, with 5 dimensions, with 6, and this one happens to have 8, 12, 14. There is not one way. Wellness is so broad and it means so many different things. You can see there's environmental wellness, physical wellness, social wellness, financial wellness, emotional wellness. And it's really hard to define, and it's so big that it's hard to get our hands wrapped around it. So wellness is something that's really hot right now. It's a hot topic. It's out there, and a lot of people use that term, I guess, but it's really hard to define. And so if you're going to do wellness, what does that mean? And this was actually a review paper that kind of came to that consensus. They kind of came to the consensus that we needed to develop a consensus on defining wellness to complement an emphasis on treating and preventing disease with health promotion. The idea that there wasn't one definition of wellness, and that we really needed to kind of come up with something to do that, to be able to move the needle forward. So is wellness too much? And that's what we kind of came up with in the Department of Nutrition Sciences. We couldn't get our hands around it. We couldn't do everything. And so therefore we decided that we were going to limit it. We were going to define a special type of wellness. And that's really how the term lifestyle wellness came up. We decided that we were going to create a new term that isn't necessarily out there, but something that we were good at, that we think we can move the needle on. And this is what we're talking about tonight. So lifestyle wellness is a specific type of wellness that is impacted by lifestyle behaviors. So it's narrower than just that broad wellness. And if you think about lifestyle is a typical way of life of an individual, group, or culture. It's kind of your style of living. It includes how we eat. It includes how we move. It includes our mindset and how we think. It includes how we sleep, and just in general, how we engage in our daily lives. So we want to concentrate on the areas that we think can make a big difference, and we want to concentrate on areas we think we can change. And we think by defining wellness, by defining this specific type of wellness, by calling it lifestyle wellness, we can better do that. We can start to move the needle in some of the things that we talked about at the beginning of this presentation. So how do we define it? This is our first stab, guys. I would love to hear, some other some edits to this and some other opinions about it, but this is how we're starting. Lifestyle wellness is about engaging in the optimal way of living. That includes your body state, your mental state, and how you behave, your behavioral state. This not only prevents and treats lifestyle diseases like type 2 diabetes and obesity, it also allows you to live your very best life. So we want both of that. We want to be able to prevent diseases because we do think that is important. Obviously, obesity, type 2 diabetes, we want to be able to treat them. We want to be able to prevent them, but that's not enough. We also want this to be about living your very best life. Lifestyle wellness impacts how you experience your life. So why not lifestyle medicine? Because this is the question I always get. There is already lifestyle medicine out there. There's textbooks on that. It's very defined. But like I said, we didn't want just this part of the graph, just this prevention of disease. We want to do that, and we will do that. But that's not all that we're wanting. We're also wanting to do this other part. This part over here is about accumulating your best life, not just preventing something, but actually achieving something, that health and happiness part that we all talk about. That's all is important, but it's sometimes a little bit hard to measure, hard to know how to measure that or change it over time. So once again, why did we choose lifestyle wellness versus general wellness or lifestyle medicine? It's narrower than general wellness. We can define it, we can own it, we can teach it, we can train it, we can certify, and we can be the place for it. And that's what we really want. This is something that I think we can be really good at, and we can have a huge impact. It's broader than lifestyle medicine. It's more forward-facing. It's about the possibilities, not what you don't want, but what you want. And it's not just about treating and preventing disease, which tends to be more fear-based. I really think it's in that sweet spot, not too broad, not as broad as wellness, but not as narrow as lifestyle medicine. So that's some of the reasons why we've looked at this specific term, lifestyle wellness. So why wellness in general? Lots of studies out there showing that wellness is the fuel for prosperity, although people define it and measure it differently, which makes it a little bit confusing and hard. But it's been associated with increased energy levels in people, a competitive advantage in companies, better learning in school, and economic prosperity in communities. It also increases productivity and quality of life, and lowers healthcare costs. So it's something that even though we can't define, we know it seems to be associated with a lot of good things, a lot of things that we want. And I think it really does center around this increase in quality of life and happiness that gives you a better workforce, that gives you more productivity. So why lifestyle wellness in terms of the Department of Nutrition Sciences and UAB? Well, I think lifestyle wellness is where obesity was about 25 years ago. When I first started, when I was just a fellow, and I said that I wanted to do basically obesity medicine. I was an endocrinologist. I'm trained as an endocrinologist, but I wanted my specialty to be just in obesity and treating people and helping people lose weight. Back 25 years ago, people thought I was crazy. They said, that's all you're going to do? You're just going to treat obesity? Can you even do that as a doctor? But we were right at that curve. The curve was starting to happen. We were ahead of the curve, and then obesity medicine had really taken off in terms of research, in terms of clinical. But back then, 25 years ago, when I said that, no one thought that could be a career. No one thought that could be something that would be as big as it is now. So I really think this term lifestyle wellness is the next big thing. It's where obesity was 25 years ago. It's not currently mainstream for academia. I think there's a lot of potential for growth opportunities. And that's what I mean by we can own it. We can define it. We can own it. We can measure it. We can have other people looking to us to define it and to live it. Like I said, potential for big impact. And I showed you that at the beginning. You know, just if we can actually help people lose weight, if we can do some of the lifestyle changes that we know are associated with preventing people from being sedentary, from increasing physical activity, on the nutrition side, like I said, on the weight side, if we can change lifestyle and impact those things, then we can have a big impact on our health and happiness. One of the reasons we like it in the Department of Nutrition Sciences is nutrition plays a central role in wellness, and we're really good at nutrition. So that's something that's in our wheelhouse already. Wellness weight management plays a central role in wellness, and we're really good at that. So I'm going to talk to you tonight about one of the programs that we have for weight management and some opportunities for you toward the end of this presentation. But these are two areas, nutrition and weight management, that play a central role in lifestyle wellness that we already have a lot of expertise in. So we have an existing foundation to build and room to grow. And I think that this is an opportunity to lead the country. And I think it would be pretty amazing if a red obesity state, if Alabama, one of the heaviest states in the country, actually led the country when it comes to lifestyle wellness and changing it and moving the needle. So an opportunity, I think, exists here. How does it fit with the UAB bigger vision for the future? And I think it fits perfectly. One of the goals is to get Alabama out of the bottom 10 in health measures. This could absolutely help with that. You know about the UAB Grand Challenge and the Live Health Smart Alabama for UAB to become the nation's first health promoting university. I love that term, health promoting. It's not about just prevention. It's about promoting health. It's about being well. It's about living your best life, not just about preventing disease. So I love that term, and I think it fits really nicely with lifestyle wellness. So how are we going to measure this? And this, I think, is the exciting part, because if we're going to do this, if we're going to define it, we have to be able to measure it. We have to study it. We have to be able to do the research on it. In addition, then, we want to be able to change it over time. I don't believe in measuring anything that we can't impact, because You give somebody a score, and if there's nothing they can do about it, then that's pretty depressing. But if you give someone a score and they can do something about it, and we can help them do something about it, then that is where we need to go. So how are we going to do it? And like I said, this is in the very beginning stages. So we are still figuring this out. We have committees right now and subcommittees coming together to figure out exactly how we're going to score it. But I'm going to give you the big picture. I'm going to give you how we're going about this, how we're thinking about it. So the lifestyle wellness score is going to be a combination of metabolic health markers, kind of optimal metabolic health. And so you can think there will be some body markers in that. There will be some metabolic physiological type markers in that. We're also going to have measures of quality of life, and we're going to have measures of happiness. So the lifestyle wellness score is going to be a combination of those three things. We then are going to say what behaviors or what domains can impact that score. Once again, I don't believe in giving someone a score and then not helping them say, how can you change it? So here's where really the lifestyle piece comes in. And we're going to start with 4 domains that we're going to measure, and then we're going to be able to use them as the ways that we're going to do an intervention or impact, help people change their score. So the 4 lifestyle domains that we're first going to start with is nutrition, physical activity, mindset, and sleep and recovery. So those, the next level. Think about the score as being in the center. Now we're putting 4 lifestyle behavior domains around it. We're going to measure those, and then we're going to be able to impact the center score, the lifestyle wellness score, by impacting the 4 domains that are around this. Could there be some more? Absolutely. But these are the big 4 that we're going to start with. And basically version 1 of this score. And then there may be that we want to add some as time goes on. But one thing that I've learned from doing a lot of weight loss and helping people lose a lot of weight is that what to do, the behaviors, those 4 domains, right? Change your nutrition, change your physical activity, work on your mindset, sleep and recovery. Knowing what to do is important, but it's not enough. I always tell the story. I spent half my career coming up with the perfect what, the perfect plan to help people lose weight. I studied diet composition and physical activity. I went into people's homes and said, how is it set up, the environment, studied everything that I could to put it into a plan to help people lose weight. But guess what, guys? It didn't work that well because it didn't contain the why. I think a lot of times people do know what they should do, but they don't do it. And so the second half of my career has really centered about not so much what to do. I think you've got to have an evidence-based what, but I think we know some pretty good things to do. I think we know some things that would move the needle in terms of lifestyle wellness. But it's getting people to do it. Why will they do it? And a little bit of how they will do it too. So the what and the why become really important. I always say, I'm not going to bet on you in Vegas if you're on the cookie diet, which is a real diet, by the way, because that's not evidence-based and that's not going to get you where we need to go in terms of the nutrition for losing weight. But at the same time, they need to know why they're going to do it. So you've got to have a good what, and you've got to have a lot of motivation and why behind it. So that same principle we're applying to this lifestyle wellness score. So the next level of the score is this. The outside circle is the motivation to change. So we are going to measure that too. So not only will we have the inner score, which is the lifestyle wellness score, we'll have the 4 domains, which are the behaviors that we're going to impact. We also are going to measure motivation to change as a total score, but also in those 4 areas. Because it may be that someone will be ready to make a change in nutrition, but not ready to make a change in their physical activity or in their mindset. So we are going to then create another level of this score where we actually measure someone's motivation to change. If someone isn't motivated to make a change, telling them to go on a diet or to eat differently or to get more physical activity or working with them on their mindset won't work. They won't do it. So for some people, when they get this score, if this motivation to change is not high enough, the first way we will impact, the first way that we will help them is to work with that before we actually start to work on changing any of the behaviors. And we will also have that motivation to change for the specific behavior. So like I said, we'll be able to say, where do we start? One of the biggest problems with wellness and even lifestyle wellness is how big it is, and it can be overwhelming. And so people come into my clinic, it's like, okay, I have a low score. What am I going to do? We need to be able to tailor it to what they can start with. And this is going to be a way that we can say which of these 4 areas might be the best place for them to start. Or really, we're not going to start with any of these 4 domains. We need to start with motivation and helping people understand why they want to do this. And that's a very personal reason. And then there's one more circle with this score that we're forming. This is things we're going to measure that we like to call fixed barriers and enablers to change. These are things that won't be part of the score, but might be important in terms of intervention. So if we have an interventionist helping someone with this score, these might be things that would be important if you're going to make some recommendations or help them decide how they're going to change. Things like socioeconomic status, or preferences of what they like and don't like, things that might impact what they would be able to do to be successful. Lots of research questions can be put out here. Lots of things that they can be studied or looked at to see if we can form some hypothesis about why people would change and how they would change. So kind of summarizing this inner circle is the overall lifestyle score, the wellness lifestyle score. This circle is the what you will do. This is the domains of the lifestyle, what you're going to do. So that's that nutrition, that exercise, sleep, and mindset. The next thing we will measure is why for each overall score in the 4 domains, which is really important for the reasons I said. And then how, information to help guide the intervention. So there will be 4 parts to this score that we're developing. And how are we developing it? We have a committee that is interested in this area that has come together, and we have subcommittees for each of the domains. We also are putting outside experts to say, how do we measure this? Coming up with the things that we're going to do to measure this. And this is something that we're going to hopefully be able to measure across a wide population. Not just people that come into a lab. We're trying to do this where we can measure this outside in the real world. We're coming up with the top 5 things you would measure for lifestyle wellness in each of those domains and why. And we're putting this first version together. And it has really fit nicely with the clinical education and research missions within the Department of Nutrition Sciences. You can see lots of research questions that could be asked, hypotheses that could be, come out of this data. There's a big education component to it. I'll talk more about that in a minute. And obviously it fits very well with our clinical outreach. So how do we change lifestyle wellness? And that's the big question, because if we can measure it, that's great. People like something they can measure and change over time, but we've got to be able to change it. It can't be something that you can't change or that won't work. So the idea is that you intervene on these 4 areas. How can you intervene in nutrition? How can you intervene in physical activity, mindset, sleep, and recovery? So we will need to have interventions for all 4 areas. And so things like weight management, nutrition, fitness, emotional resiliency, and motivation. These are all interventions that we will need to work on. These are all clinical opportunities. So what I wanted to bring up now is one of our weight management programs that will be part of those interventions. Obviously, helping people lose weight and keep it off will be a big part of this lifestyle wellness initiative. And one of the programs that we currently have and that we're getting ready to roll out is called Stay to Slim. So I wanted to talk about that for a few minutes. There's an opportunity for some UAB alumni to get involved in this, and I wanted to raise that opportunity at the end of this presentation. But Stay to Slim is a book. It's a 16-week journey. It is a program to help people lose weight and keep it off. And it's something we call transformative weight loss. So it fits really nicely with lifestyle wellness. in the Stay to Slim, we begin with the end in mind, and it's what really makes the program different. It's not just a weight loss program. It is a program that's designed to keep the weight off, and it was reverse engineered. We came up with all the things that needed to be in place for people to be successful at keeping the weight off, which is point B. And while they were losing the weight, while they're moving from point A to point B, while they're doing that, we're putting in place all the things that need to be there for them to keep the weight off. So it really was a reverse engineered program, trying to get people able to not just lose the weight, but keep it off long term. I said it was a transformative weight loss program. And what is the definition of that? It's the process of creating and aligning a new reduced body weight with a positive and emotionally resilient mindset and your bigger purpose, spirit, and a new way of living and being. It combines the what and the why, which is very much what we're trying to do with this lifestyle wellness initiative. It came from a lot of my work with the TV shows, ABC's Extreme Weight Loss. This is that program. It wasn't The Biggest Loser. I know so many of you probably think of The Biggest Loser when you think about a TV show around weight, but this was a program that followed one person for a whole year, each episode, and it was about them changing their life. It was about transformation. I agreed to do the TV show. We agreed to do the TV show at the University of Colorado, but only if we could then develop a program that could help people that were inspired by the show. On the TV show, they got about a 50% weight loss, which you know is huge. We then developed a program that people that were inspired by the show could actually come to the University of Colorado. It was a year-long program, and they could have that transformative process. And we averaged around 20% weight loss. And that program, or a version of that program, a new version of that program, is what we are developing here at UAB. It's going to be an immersion program for weight management, and we're going to be using the Lakeshore facility. Participants are going to come to Lakeshore for an intensive week of weight management, and then they will engage virtually with us for a year. So this is some of the interventions that we're going to use to help with that lifestyle wellness and help, with those 4 different domains. And this is just one of the opportunities that we think will be coming in the months and years ahead. In addition, we're going to have the opportunity for people to be lifestyle wellness coaches. So we're going to be able to train people in lifestyle wellness. And use those certified lifestyle wellness coaches in clinical and community programs like I've been talking about. And as you can see, there's also a ton of research that can be put into place with this too. So concluding, so I can get some questions and comments, this is a big, bold idea, and there's lots of things we haven't figured out yet, but really want to know how how it kind of resonates with you as a big idea. Could a red obesity state like Alabama lead the country in developing, measuring, and intervening in lifestyle wellness? Could that happen? Nothing is ever guaranteed. So what if it doesn't work? And there's a big chance it might not work. But I always say, what if it does? Did you know that our lifestyles are causing 75% of Americans to be overweight and obese? Did you know that lifestyle-related weight gain is causing chronic diseases? Did you know by helping people achieve lifestyle wellness and weight loss, we can reduce obesity, and obesity-related chronic diseases increase our quality of life? Imagine a place where researchers, educators, and clinicians work side by side to identify how lifestyle behaviors impact health and happiness, to help people adopt these lifestyle behaviors and train others to help change lives. You don't have to imagine. We're going to make it happen. UAB. So that's the big vision. That's where we want to go. That's really what this lifestyle wellness is all about. Couple opportunities for you in the last couple of minutes. I am looking for a few UAB alumni who want to be part of a spring group. It'll probably be late spring, early summer in 2021 to experience Stay to Slim, to be the inaugural group. The program is developed, but we have not rolled it out in that sense here at UAB. So I want the first group to people who want to lose weight, keep it off, have that big transformation that I was talking about. It's a 16-week program to start. Meets once a week virtually for 75 minutes. There's a lot of experiential homework. If you are interested, please, at the end of this, I will have my email. And if you can send me a note, I'm going to be looking for picking about 16 people to be the first to go through the program. So an opportunity for alumni. And then a second opportunity. This is a research study where you would actually get Stay to Slim and weight loss as part of the study. So if you're interested in being in a weight loss research study, this might be of interest for you. All right, I think that is the end. I'm open for question and comments. I think we're gonna have, looks like we have some time for that, so that's great.
We definitely do. Thank you so much for all that information. So I'll just kick things off right away. So is there a single area out of those 4 dimensions that people maybe should focus on more than some of the others, or is it kind of just a body of work?
Yeah, I don't know that we know that, but I would say just from my experience is you need to go to the area that people are willing to work on. I think that all of them can have impact. And I also think that the 4 areas influence each other. So a lot of times when people start working on nutrition, they become empowered and it will influence other areas, some of the other domains, like mindset. And other things, if they become empowered, emotional resiliency and other things. So even though we're separating, they are connected in many ways, but I don't believe that one should be first. I think the first one, in terms of one having a bigger impact, I think the first one should be the one that you're ready to work on, that you know why you will do this. Because like I said, if you don't know why, if you really haven't looked at that readiness to change, it never sticks. It never lasts long term.
So with the Stay to Slim, somebody assumes that it'll be a team-based approach to the program. What are the important disciplines that are going to be involved in that program, just kind of in your mind?
And this is specifically for Stay to Slim or for lifestyle wellness?
I will go with Stay to Slim.
Okay. So with Stay to Slim, the program has already been developed. So this is a program that's ready to go. It is a book and a 16-week program. So you have a coach and an assistant coach. It's a virtual program. You're in a small group. It uses Zoom. So your coach is the leader on that. So everything has really already been put into that program. And we have some data and know that it can have a significant impact on weight, et cetera.
So with the program, will participants be able to self-report their lifestyle wellness in a non-clinical setting?
So I think right now we're talking about lifestyle wellness and the score. So I think I understand this question. So what we're really trying to do is make this where we can do this, yes, in the real world. So we will be rolling this out in the undergraduates. We'll be getting to do this, getting a lifestyle wellness score. So we're not going to bring people into a lab necessarily to measure it. We could do that in some circumstance, but the measurements are some things that we can do easily and can repeat over time.
For people who have achieved lifestyle wellness, what are the most common whys and what are the most common motivators?
Yeah, so that is a great question. And the thing is, it really is very individual. We do something called peel the onion, where you really get down and get into what we call a very private why. And that private why is something that has meaning to you. It's something that may not have meaning to the person sitting next to you, but it's really why you will choose to change. And I will tell you, in most of my experiences, it has very little to do with health. Most people say, they'll start off saying, I want to change my nutrition, lose weight, be more physically active because I don't want to have diabetes, or because I want to treat my diabetes, or because I want to be healthy. That usually isn't enough. We have to peel deeper and say, why do you not want to have diabetes? Why do you want to be healthy? And it usually comes down to a way they want to feel, be, or live, experience life, which is really about this lifestyle wellness. It's how they want to engage in life. And by changing some behaviors, some lifestyle behaviors, they're going to engage in life, feel and be different. And that is really what motivates them. And if you can get someone down to that and they can realize that, and you can use that as the motivator, that's when these behaviors tend to stick long term. So it's usually how someone wants to feel, be, or live that's different than what they're doing, how they're living right now. And that's a usually stronger motivator. What it is very different from person to person. It may be, I want to be able to engage in life and live large and go out there and be, have an adventure and nothing hold me back. It may be that I want to be able to, sit on the floor and play with my kids. It's very, very different, but it's a way of living, being, or feeling that ultimately motivates people.
Of the 16 people that you choose, is there going to be a cost associated with that?
No. So for the inaugural group, the first group, there will not be a cost associated with it. But what I want in exchange is you to tell your story. So I guess there is a little bit of a cost in that I want to, tell your story of transformation and what happened over that 16 weeks and beyond. So be willing to share your story to inspire others. So that would be the cost, but no monetary cost.
Is there an age limit?
No, absolutely no.
Good. How much weight loss are you looking for with the State of Slim test group?
Well, I'm going to try to get maximum weight loss. So with State of Slim, it's designed as a big change program. I mean, I was on the show Extreme Weight Loss, so I'm not a small change person, and I'm a big idea person. I'm about moving the needle, as you can tell. I want to take a red state, Alabama, and make it a green state like Colorado, where I'm from, right? So I like big ideas. So we're going to lose as much weight as possible in that 16 weeks safely. So this isn't a small change program. It's a big change program. On average, people lose between I'm trying to think of the average, around 12%. So some people losing more, some people losing less. I think the maximum I've ever seen in 16 weeks is around 25%, which is a lot. That's not typical. That's about the maximum. So I think you can count on a 12%. That would be average, but you're going to do some work. This is about State of Slim is we are changing things. We are transforming. It is not a program that, I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to help you and guide you, but you are going to transform. You're going to do the work.
Since this is virtual, do you have to live in Alabama to participate?
No. You're an Alabama alumni, I bet. It's virtual. I'll have to think about that, but I don't think so. I think we can do everything virtually. One nice thing about COVID is we have really figured out that we don't have to be in person to do everything. So yeah, I'm going to say no.
Let's see here. Beyond coaching, what are the core concepts employed in the State of Slim?
I'm sorry, what was the first part? Beyond coaching? Beyond
coaching.
The core concepts that are employed in State of Slim. Well, so there's some big things that make it unique. One of the core concepts is we think about weight loss and weight loss maintenance as being separate entities. What we're doing to lose weight is different than what we do to maintain the weight loss. And so we treat it very separately. A lot of people think that whatever they do to lose the weight, they better be ready to do it forever. That is not the philosophy. And that's been a lot of my research is what people do to lose weight and what they do to successfully maintain it are different. And while you're getting ready to move into weight loss maintenance, you're not going to be on a diet forever. No one can adhere to a diet forever. So they're very different processes, and the program sees them as such and separates them and makes sure that we're thinking of them as separate. Additionally, the program is really designed to get your fat burning going. And we have a diet that is over time, it starts out very strict, but over time it becomes less strict. So by the time you actually get to weight loss maintenance, you're on a diet that's closer to your forever diet than usually the opposite. A lot of other programs, by the time you get to the end of the diet, you're eating chicken and broccoli. You're so far away from a forever diet that the first time you see pizza, the first time you even smell pizza, you gain 3 pounds. opposite. We start pretty chicken and broccoli, get the fat burners going, add fuel over time as we're increasing physical activity. So we're combining both nutrition and physical activity. And by the end, you're close to a weight loss maintenance diet. So that's another principle that's very different. We also believe in something called metabolic flexibility. And metabolic flexibility is the idea that once you lose some weight and now you want to maintain it, we want to create a metabolism where if you eat a little bit more, you burn a little bit more. If you eat a little bit less, you burn a little bit less. You know, the idea that you're going to stay in balance, that you're not going to regain. And so we're working constantly on creating that metabolic flexibility. So those are a few of the concepts that are different, perhaps, from other things. There's a diet involved. I don't think the diet is the secret sauce. I think that a lot of different diets could work, but I do think the idea that we're concentrating on where you need to be to keep the weight off, and we concentrate a huge piece, and I probably should have said this first, on mindset. I believe that the mindset is just as important as the nutrition and the physical activity. I always say, show me the data and I'll believe it. But I also say, think about when you believe something, you see the data. So we work on mindset just as much as we work on nutrition, what you're eating, and how much you're working out.
We have somebody that is excited. They lost 22 pounds. Their BMI is 24, which is where they want to be. They achieved it. They want to stay at the optimal weight for a 57-year-old who is 5'4". They're worried about putting it back on. So how do you suggest keeping it off?
So they want to stay, they want to stay at a BMI of 24.
Yes.
Which is fine. So the question is, they want to know what to do to keep it off.
Yeah, in the long term.
You've already lost it. Okay. So in terms of weight loss maintenance, so when it comes to weight loss, what's doing the heavy lifting is nutrition. I always say a lot of things are in the bus driving. There's more than one thing. But if you don't have nutrition dialed in, you're not going to go anywhere. You don't have a driver, you're not going to be very successful. Nutrition has to be there for weight loss. When it comes to weight loss maintenance, nutrition is not the most important thing. Physical activity becomes the most important thing. So if I were helping this person, there's several things I would work on, but I would need to make sure that your physical activity is at a level that is going to allow you to keep the weight off. Physical activity is the #1 predictor of who is going to be successful at keeping weight off long term. If I was betting in Vegas, I would bet directly on how much physical activity you're getting every day. And for most people, and this is going to scare some people, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. For most people, and in Stay to Slim, we build you up to where you're at 70 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity 6 days a week. You can break it up. It doesn't have to be running. It can be walking, but it's got to be moderate intensity. You got to move. There's something about that volume of activity that we've shown and others have shown tend to be associated with keeping weight off. So lots of things I could tell you, but if I had to tell you one thing, that physical activity, you can't let physical activity drop. You'll regain the weight.
Speaking of physical activity, when it comes to the program, are you in charge of your own workouts and physical activity?
Yes. So the program is designed for us helping you create the volume of physical activity, creating the habit and the mindset you need, but we don't make you do a certain physical activity. So if you hate biking, we're not going to make you bike. And yes, you're going to be doing it on your own. You have a team and you're all trying to get those minutes in. So you're going to support each other in terms of being successful at achieving the minutes, but you don't have to do, you know, a certain type of activity. If you don't like to walk, you don't have to walk. You definitely don't have to run. You don't have to do elliptical, but you got to do something. And that's what we're holding, you know, that kind of holds the team together. So it's not a specific activity plan. You can do what you like. And that's a key, finding something that you like, finding something that you can do for a long period of time.
I'm going to wind things down with a couple of yes or no questions. And they'll just be simple. If you want to elaborate a little bit more, that's fine too. But to participate in Stay to Slim, do you have to have a certain BMI?
Well, I mean, I'm someone who does not need to lose weight at all, but I do take all ranges. I guess my question, this isn't yes or no. I'm sorry. You can have hundreds of pounds to lose or 10 pounds to lose. I'm okay with that. you do need to have some weight to lose.
Okay. Will registered dietitians serve as the lifestyle wellness coaches?
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about that. I think registered dietitians are in a great place to do that. I don't think they necessarily will be the only ones. We ultimately want to set up a certificate program, so there will definitely be some requirements, and I think registered dietitians will be in a prime position, but not the only ones who can serve as lifestyle wellness coaches.
Will you have a program for people who want to stay healthy and living their best life already? So maybe this is a follow-up.
So a program, so this is a program for people who just don't want to gain weight, or is this more about lifestyle wellness? I think
it's for people who are already having a good lifestyle wellness and they just want to maintain.
Yeah, I do have a series that goes with Stay to Slim. So there's weight loss, there's ongoing weight loss, and then there's kind of a maintain it program piece of it. I call that SOS Energized. And it's the idea that you can plug in to stay energized wherever you are. And so that would be someone who might be a good fit for that.
Give us that email address again where they can reach you.
Okay. So it's Dr. Holly at UAB.edu. So DRHOLLY at UAB.edu. Is there a website that they can find more information as well? We don't have a website yet up for UAB. There's that study. There may be the study, but that be on a website. But we don't have a UAB website up yet, but we will soon. Awesome. Dr. Holly, it has been fascinating. Your energy is infectious, plenty of good information. And just based off of the chat, I think you're going to get to 16 just like that. Nice, nice. Love it. So thank you so much for joining us. If anybody in our audience missed anything and you'd like to go back and look at tonight's presentation, a recording will be available on our website tomorrow. Just give me a little bit of time and I'll get it up there. So despite our virtual world, and we're talking about physical activity, we have a lot going on in our office, including our 15th annual scholarship run presented by Viva Health. This year's run will be held virtually from Friday, April 23rd through Monday, April 26th. Join us as we support student scholarships by taking part in our 5K, 10K. We even have a non-running option. You can walk, you can do whatever you want. Register for all of those at alumni.uab.edu/run. If you're aching for the day you can get out of the house and travel, well, we've got something for you. Join us on March 16th as we take a look at upcoming trips we have through one of our travel partners, Colette. The Alumni Travel Night is presented by Colette Travel. Get more information on excursions to Portugal, Costa Rica, and Holland and Belgium. Register at alumni.uab.edu/travel. Meanwhile, you can register for the following upcoming webinars. On April 1st, we welcome Jennifer McInerney to share how we can best utilize trusts in our estate planning as part of To Trust or Not to Trust. Then on April 6th, join us as we take a look at UAB's oral history collection. This webinar will allow us to learn more about UAB, Birmingham, and Alabama. We'll be hosting another webinar in our Backpacks to Briefcases series on April 14th. Join us that evening as we look how we can build our personal brand. Finally, on April 22nd, join us to find out what the latest science says about living longer, healthier lives. All of these events can be found at alumni.uab.edu/events. Looking for a podcast to get you through your commute or work day? We've got one for you. Catch up with our conversations with alumni with UAB Green and Told. You can find and subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or by visiting alumni.uab.edu/green and told. Also, be sure to stay on top of all things alumni on social media. We are UAB Alumni on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And LinkedIn, it is UAB Alumni Career Community. Finally, if you want more information about the National Alumni Society, visit us at alumni.uab.edu or email alumni@uab.edu. Once again, thank all of you for joining us for tonight's discussion with Dr. Holly Wyatt. Have a great evening. And as always, go Blazers.